Hey guys, it's Ash here, coming at you today, Race Shot Legends. Welcome to the video. Send us some love, some positive vibes your way, especially if you need them. I'll tell you what, after my shard opening a couple days ago, I need all the positive vibes I can get. But I have my lucky shirt on again. Okay, I'm actually recording this one right after I recorded that one. But let's do the runway edit again, Osama. Give the people what they want. Okay, enough of that. All right, so today I actually pulled a while back. It's been a few months now. I pulled one of the worst void legendaries inside the entire game, and today I want to see, is she this bad? I want to give her a fair shot. You know how it is. You pull a bad champion, legendary, mythical. Are there bad mythicals? I guess. Frolny, maybe. Some of you guys love Frolny. Jorad, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, I digress. You pull a bad champion, and don't you have that moment, especially if they're a high rarity or hard to get, don't you have that moment, kind of psychologically, wait a second, maybe everybody else is wrong, and this is a hidden gem of a champion. Well, that's how I felt maybe when I pulled Aratheia Corpseflower. That's right. Plarium decided to litter and water down the Void Champion pool. The Void Champion pool. Way to go, Ash. The Void Champion pool with extra champions on top. So we have Aratheia Corpseflower. I saw her on Hell Hades' website, and they gave her a 4. A 4, well, that does not align with the in-game reviews on this champion. I actually want to pair her with another Void Legendary who people really don't like, that I'm kind of... He's growing on me. He's growing on me. So we'll start by doing that. And talking about Aratheia, right? Is she really this bad? Or is there something here? Is there some value that we can extract from this awful Sylvan Watcher champion? Who honestly, I mean, kind of some, what, pixie vibes? What is the Tinkerbell? I'm like, what is the Peter Pan character again? Little Tinkerbell of Sylvan Watchers, maybe? She's got the same wings as Claydna. You notice that? Oh, Claydna, excuse me. I'm sorry, Claydna. Way bigger wings on Claydna. Well, Claydna's like, yeah, what up? What up, B? Welcome to the faction. They gave her the smaller wings as if they were like, yeah, she's a crappier champion, but have fun with the aesthetic. I like her staff at least. Anyway, we talked about the staff. Look at her base stats. Well, that's crap. 14-7 on the HP. She must have, like, what, 2,000 attack, like Carnage? No, she's got 1,500 attack. She got 1,100 on the defense and 100 on the speed. So, not screaming Void Legendary at me so far, especially with that attack on an attack-based champion. What else does she do? She has Hex Bloom, a single hitter on the A1. Fills the champion's turn meter by 10%. Fills the champion's turn meter by additional 10% if the enemy is under a Hex. Counterattack with this skill when hit by enemies under a Hex. Multiplier here is going to be a 3.8 multiplier on that A1. Not too bad. Let me just say, it does hit pretty hard. All right, Capricious Spite on the A2 ability attacks all enemies not once, but twice. Damage increased by 10% for each enemy under Hex. Debuff. We'll ignore shield and strengthen buffs. Okay. We'll also ignore block damage on enemies under Hex. A lot of conditionality here for a Void Legendary. Fills his champion's turn meter by 30%. Fills his champion's turn meter by an additional 20% for each enemy killed by this skill. Well, that's a bummer. Okay. 30% turn meter fill on a 3-turn cooldown is not bad, provided it hits hard. The multipliers here is going to be 2 attack times 10% of enemy Hex count. Legendary damage grading. Okay. And then we go down to the Mind Snare Cloud. Plays an increased accuracy on all allies for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown when booked. Has a 100% chance of placing a Death Brand debuff on a target enemy for 2 turns. That means if they die under that debuff, well, they're going to be dead forever. That's a block revive. Also has a 100% chance of placing a Hex on all enemies for 2 turns. Then fills his champion's turn meter by 50%. Fills his champion's turn meter by additional 10% for each debuff placed by this skill. Okay, so if we place, you know, a Hex on 5 enemies, we'll get 100% turn meter fill, plus the Death Brand, so 110% maximum turn meter fill, which is not bad. You can actually get turn meter fill above 100% in this game. It basically just puts you in the queue. Who goes next has the highest turn meter. It goes up above, even though it doesn't make sense kind of intuitively, right? Also plays a block damage on this champion for 1 turn. Well, I do like the block damage. It's not protected or anything like that. Not a bad skill, but there's no damage here. There's no AoE attack. There's not even a single target attack. And the Death Brand only goes on 1 enemy. All right, this passive better be just bananas for her to be a Void Legendary. All right, if this champion kills 1 enemy in a battle, we'll ignore 10% of any target's defense. It's worded kind of weird there. Is it like forever in the entire battle? That's how I take it. If this champion kills 2 or more enemies in a battle, this champion will receive a shield buff equal to 40% of their max HP for 2 turns at the start of their own turn. And if this champion kills 3 or more enemies in a battle, each attack will decrease a target's turn meter by 10% that cannot be resisted. Well, spoiler alert, it does last the duration of whatever battle you're in. So honestly, if you can get a couple kills, you're getting a big shield, right? At the start of their turn, and you're getting that turn meter depletion as well as some ignore defense, which she does not have on her A2, her big damage ability. So she has attack in all battles by 30%, kind of a crappy aura 2. It's like, whatever, it's all right, I guess. So what do we think of her? What do we think of this kit? Well, it doesn't scream Void Legendary at me, right? Especially with that base attack. I mean, she needs an insane amount of damage to be good. And even if she had a insane amount of damage, I don't think it screams anything special here. Things that you could do to her to buff her before we even play test her, right? And I'll say that there'll be moments, if you're anything like me, that she does you can kind of talk yourself into her a little bit. At least that's what I'm doing. That's what I've done in testing for this video. So an increased accuracy is nice. Death Brand is only on 1 target. Now listen, there's plenty of enemies in this game. Heck, there's even old school OG enemies, or excuse me, champions enemies, with block revive. You know, Sealed Fate, Foley's got it. He's got it on everybody, just straight up block revive. The thing with Death Brand is pretty cool debuff. I love it on Queen of Hearts, of course, right? Queen of Hearts is a single target as well, to be fair. But Death Brand can be cleansed. It's not like it's a protected Death Brand or anything like that, right? So it's no Hunter's Gaze in terms of its overall power profile, of course. Not ignoring killable and block damage and stuff like that. So it could be an AoE. That seems very Void Legendary-like, to have an AoE Death Brand ability, right? But she doesn't have that. She does need accuracy to place her Hex and her Death Brand, of course. For wave content, you know, she's hexing. She's got that going for her. Anyway, let me show you how I have her built. I'll show you the other Void Legendary who everybody hates that I'm starting to have a little thing for. I'm going to show you a weird team before we jump into the arena. So, Corpseflower. I like her aesthetic, though. I really do. Jokes aside. I threw her in a Merciless set, right? 6-piece. And I figure I can even use this in the arena, depending on the team, of course. If I have enough protection, I could use a Necret or a Neve, who I will be using on the same team as her. Try to get that juicy 35% ignore defense, because she's really lacking ignore defense for a champion who's meant to be a damage dealer on your team. She needs to get kills to power up, right? So I really need the ignore defense, so I decided to go with a 6-piece Merciless, okay? You also want accuracy, right? She does bring increased accuracy, which is helpful. Here's another big problem I have with her. No, she doesn't bring her own increased attack. That would be very, very helpful, right? How about at the beginning of all this, they put at the start of this champion's turn, she places an increased attack on her, right? That would be really, really helpful, because because she doesn't hit hard enough to not run her with increased attack, like most attack-based champions, but especially her, with that base attack being so relatively low. So the total stats today are going to be 256, 102, 272, speed, crit rate, crit damage, right over 6,000 on the attack as well. And we have the Malefic Talent. Honestly, one of my absolute favorite relics out there for rares. Getting that much crit damage on a main stat out of a rare relic, super good, especially on HP-based damage dealers, but of course any damage dealer, right? I have Lightning Cage because I really want to protect the block damage. There's another buff idea. Protected block damage for 1 turn. That'd be great. And then we have like a typical kind of nuker mastery loadout here. Anything to really write home about? No. I have Master Hexer to extend the duration, of course, of her hexes. I guess that's it. I have a Cycle of Violence, get more cooldowns, because she already has the turn meter going, right? So I went with a Whirlwind of Death to kind of, you know, try to play into the idea that she's supposed to get even stronger and stronger the more she kills, right? So that's what we went with. Obviously, kill streak as well. Again, playing into the chain kills, if you will. All right, so let's go into, and I want you guys to be the judge. I'm assuming most of you don't have her, so thanks for watching the video. This is my team. Let me just come out and say it. I kind of have a thing for Shredder lately, guys. I don't know what it is. Maybe the fact that he's so hard to kill, right? And you know what? He came out and everybody was underwhelmed because think about your childhood, if you're anything near my age, right? Is that, man, Master Shredder was a beast, right? I think he was a beast. He's like, what a villain. He's the quintessential villain of my childhood. Him and I guess like Cobra Commander and Destro. I was a little bit more of a G.I. Joe guy growing up, but I still love the Ninja Turtles. Anyway, I digress. Dude, the thing with Shredder is he always astounds me, the damage he puts out. I never expect him to put the damage that he actually deals out. And he's so tough to kill. As a matter of fact, when prepping for this video, he actually ended up soloing the Ice Golem. The team kind of wiped a couple times. You know how the Ice Golem can be towards the end, especially, right? When you're just dealing raw damage. He just soloed him because of his passive, Dimensional Tyrant. I really love the name of the passive too, man. I don't know. There's something about Shredder. Should be a movie, sequel. Something about Mary, but with Shredder. I love it. I love this dude. I love Shredder, man. And I'll be real with you guys. I don't use Shredder in the arena, but one time, I'll never forget this time, someone drafted him against me, and he freaking wrecked my team. It was like a little Predator action. I couldn't kill this mofo, you know? So I respect Shredder, and I'm not afraid to say it. What else we got? Rock of Vile Tide. We've got Noble. Noble. Dude, here's the thing about me. I'm just trying to alienate everybody left watching this video. Everybody else clicked away at the fashion show at the beginning, right? But Noble is not that bad. I don't care, man. He's not that good either, but he's not that bad, you know? I'll tell you, watch. A 2-turn ignored 30% defense, stealing turn meter all over the place, man. Chain reaction turns left and right. Cool champion, but not a great, but good. Hey, let's just watch him. Shut up, Ash, and 13 minutes into the video almost, and no gameplay? Gosh, I suck. All right, here we go. Hexes everywhere. That was that was freaking Noble. So she led up Aratheia there with her, I'm just going to take it off auto so I can just keep up with the crap. Let's just A1 into somebody not named Gurgo the Augur. So excuse me. So she did attack on that first move. My bad. So we're going to go in there and we're going to just use, again, the A3 ability. So this is who we can, there's no one that we need to worry about reviving here. So we'll just put it on Sir Nick, I guess. And then Shredder's just going to just mash. All right. See how fast we're able to get back to our A1? It's honestly not bad. It's that turn meter fill, of course, that we got from the A3 ability. The cool thing is 50% turn meter, an additional 10% for each debuff. And then the A2, we get the 30% turn meter and then the extra if you kill a target. So you put that all together, maybe we can just kill Gurgo. You put that all together and you're actually looking like in aggregate a lot of damage, but then Noble's like, yo, what up? Check out Noble, man. All right, that wasn't that much damage, I'm not gonna lie. But Noble can dish out a little bit of damage, especially in, you know, he's basically just a kind of a wave content guy. We get the block revive there through the vis-a-vis the death brand. Let's watch the AoE ×2 here again. What, about 100,000 damage? Honestly, it's not that great, right? It's not that great. I don't mind the turn meter fill. It's pretty cool. But, and that's our A3 with, again, the big turn meter fill because of the minions as well. And she gets right back to her next move. So this is the point of the video where, you know, I was talking myself a little bit into Aratheia. Eritrea? What is that from? Atreyu? From like Neverending Story or something? Anyway, I was starting to talk myself into her here around this. Look at Shredder, man. It's okay. I have a reviver. The only thing about Rock of Vile Tide is it's like one of those Mighty Ukko revives where she'll just use the ability if she has it, and then you're like, wait, how far is it off cooldown here? So, but look at Shredder, dude. He's like, let me cook here. Oh, okay, Shredder. Show the people what I was talking about, Shredder. He's like, wait, it's my turn to shine here, Ashpoo. All right, there he goes. Can Shredder solo the entire Ice Golem? Woo! We'll see. We'll see. Oh! It doesn't feel like he's going to be able to. But I'm still standing. All right. So we wiped. Whatever. I'm going to come back and I'm going to try again. But before we wiped, we had Shredder with 5. It doubled the damage of Aratheia, even with the increased attack and all that baloney. Granted, he got a little bit extra at the end of the battle there, but Noble puts out the same amount of damage as her. I'll be right back. All right, guys, here we go. We're back. Doing a little bit better this time, I will say. I like how fast she gets back to her turns, but as I was trying to say before my team wiped, is that she, I would just prefer an extra turn, right? Sometimes you can get enamored by things on champions, and you're like, damn, you're a Void Legendary, just give me an extra turn, you know? Aratheia. Aratheia. All right, so you can see that A1 deals some pretty nice damage here. Now, everybody's been alive the entire match here. Look at Noble stealing that turn meter, going right back in. Almost 300K. Man. All right, so let's take a look here. Shredder, this time they dealt about the same amount of damage, but this time Noble stole the show. So if a Void Legendary is giving me the same as Noble, now granted, there's the Hex and stuff like that. I want to be fair to her. The Death Brand. But anyway, let's sell these Retaliation and those Provoke Boots. But yeah, I mean, you know, overall, they all brought something to the table there. I like using these kind of weird teams, though. Sometimes these weird champions. I just did a Gameran video a couple days ago, too. I really love that dude. I did a Granite video last month. You guys keep giving me the feedback, and I'll keep making these videos showing you my favorite off-meta champions. So here we go. Speaking of off-meta, we've got Fabian and Neve and Arbiter. So here we go. Let's try her out in the arena, guys. Same build, but we do have that block damage to help get her to her turn without dying. Let's go ahead and test out some damage here in the arena and just test out her kit a little bit here, and then we'll grade her. And, you know, do we agree with the in-game reviews, or do we agree with Hell Hades? All right, so in this situation, we have the Death Brand and the Hex, but we have 2 Stone Skins here. So, I guess I'll just put, they have no cleanser, so I'll just go ahead and put that Death Brand on the monkey. That way he'll never come back if we kill him. Which I think, hopefully, we ought to be able to kill him. All right, here comes the big fella. Boom. Takes down my Neve. Not the end of the world here. So, in this situation, we'll never have to deal with the Monkey King again. And we have block damage, so should we be able to kill Embreeze, we won't take that reflect damage that he's known for. Not bad. I mean, granted, squishy team, but not bad. The damage isn't awful, but it's not amazing. What I do like about her is she gets back to her turns with all the turn meter fill on every single move. She gets back to her turns really quickly. This team would just wreck us, but let's do it anyway, just for S's and G's. Even on the A1, she has turn meter fill, so every move has turn meter fill. Little Genzen action there a little bit, right? All right, so we do go first with my Arbiter here, so we're able to lock them out. They do have a counter, hard counter, to my Fabian with their Crixia, and they have the most annoying champion in 9-piece Mercurial in the game, right up there with maybe Odin, Hilvi, and Raglan. So Theodosia has the buff removal. I don't know, maybe we can just pop off Crixia, or not. All right, getting rid of, okay, all right, great. So they switched Theodosia. We're going to go in here. So again, we do have an opportunity to pop off somebody. We could go in, try to get the kill, but of course Raglan has the stupid total guard stack on her, right? And we have a double hitter. I don't think that second hit's going to hit quite hard enough to kill her. Double hitters are great, obviously, let's try to knock off, just try to knock off Embreeze. If we can get back to the turn before the cleanse, I don't know. Well, I do know now. All right, that didn't go too well, did it? But we kind of called our shot. Let me try again, but do the other move. All right, this time we're gonna try the golly. I mean, this time we're kind of SOL. Let's go ahead and just I guess what does she do here? Everybody killed by this skill. We're not going to kill anybody. 2 stone skins. I'm just going to A1 here and work on the chip away at the total guard. Here comes the big fella. Big nuke. She's still alive. And not going to look so good here. Not going to look so good. Let's see. Let's see. Fabian just doing what he does. All right, let's go in and see if we can kill after the total guard. Not even close. See what happens when we go against kind of a real meta team here. I don't know. You know what I could do here? Since they have an OP team, I guess I could try to have an OP team, right? Let's go in and let's death brand the big fella. Get that turn meter fill in the block damage. Can she maybe solo this team? I've seen crazier things happen. Nice A1 there. Here comes the A2. Embreeze is down, and he can't get up. Oh, didn't he die with Death Brand? Am I crazy? Stupid Raglan. But stupid Embreeze will kill me, and I don't have that A3. I can get the turn meter fill. My only shot here is to pop off Raggy, and then to get the turn meter fill back and be faster enough than Embreeze. Popper. Oh. Don't mind me, guys, just getting revenge because I can't tolerate losing without going full pay-to-win mode. Here we go. Man, I thought for a second we might have pulled it off there at the very end, but no dice. We still have Aratheia on the team here, but let's go in. Let's get that unkillable there. We got Garrel. Garrel is nutso. I don't know. Let's just boost. Garrel is nutso. In case you missed the memo. Let's just go ahead and kill Embry. Sure, why not? And then let's pop off, I don't think we're going to be able to kill anybody, so let's get the good old resist there and get locked out. Fantastic, fantastic. Let's switch forms, and I mean, we can cool down, reset, at least on Theodosia. Of course, immune to it is our girl there. Let's wait till there's not a total guard stack. And then, whoop, poke away at the total guard. Try to get through there. There we go. See? We pay to win it. We pay to win and we got our revenge, and Aratheia didn't even really do anything. Fantastic. Great showcase, Ash. Let's do one more battle here, guys. Let's go back to the other team. All right, so this team scares me. Solinar, they got the power couple, of course. Solinar is so mean. He steals everything. Even my heals. Let's get rid of him right out the gate. But by get rid of, I meant barely touch him. Let's death brand this loser. And then let's AoE on the A2 of Arbiter. Even though, okay, we can do this. Let's try to neutralize. There we go. And then Oak. Ooh. Wait, did he die with Death Brand? Did he die with Death Brand, guys? I didn't see it. He can't steal my heals now. Let's go in with the AoE ×2. All right. We had the block damage. That's fine. Not against Predator, but we petrify him anyway. Got to be careful of his counterattacks, of course. Let's neutralize his crit rate. And is he going to come back? Did he die with the Death Brand? Is it not working? Oh, come on! Oh, Fabian. I worry about you, little fella. All right, let's go ahead and go in there with the petrification. Let's lock him out. That A1 is I'm ended. Fabian, can you do it? Can you? Oh, Fabian! MVP. All right, guys, listen. That was a lot of fun, honestly. That was a lot of fun. The Naldua and Solinar. What is it? The moon and the sun. We defeated him with Aratheia Corpseflower. Listen, how do I feel about Aratheia? How do you guys feel after this showcase here? Do you think she's a 4-star? Or do you think she's a, I guess a 2, a C champion? Maybe a 3 or 2. I don't know. Here's my thing on her. Is I'm bummed out that they released her. I'm just going to be real with you guys, right? Because she looks so cool. She's a Sylvan Watcher at the time, the newest faction when she was released. The newest faction, the most recent Void Legendary in there. And it's a shame that she's not great. She's not who you want to see coming out of a freaking Void Shard, that's for sure. Especially with power creep the way it is now in the game. and she really watered down the Void Legendary pool. That being said, I don't think she's the worst Void Legendary. That also being said, there's not that many that are worse than her. You know, I'd rather have her than, you know, Fortis, maybe Whirlim, you know, nowadays maybe Hegemon, you know. I think there's some, the cool thing about her is I do think that she's bad enough where she's a candidate of getting a buff. And I released a whole video talking about all the token trader champions inside the game. Honestly, and I really never say this, it was one of my favorite videos that I've recorded in a while, right? And in this video, we also talked a bit about some of these bad champions. They're primed to get buffs, right? They're playing buffs the really bad champions, not the mediocre ones. So in a way, I hope and I think that they'll buff Aratheia this year because she's pretty bad. But I like her. There's some promise in her kit. And we saw that hopefully in today's video. She wasn't like, there was a good foundation, but the house they built on the foundation was just meh, you know? That's my opinion. I'm not enamored by the damage. I would love maybe a little bit more turn meter if we want to play into that, or chances of, I mean, heck, Miss Rider Dothy has extra turns in his kit in turn meter and stuff like that. Maybe a little bit more of that. Maybe, again, I've mentioned all the ideas that I had on this champion. What do you guys think? Maybe an AoE Death Brand, right? I mean, that'd be really powerful, but she is a Void Legendary after all. Maybe definitely an increased attack in her kit. Maybe a protected block damage for 1 turn. I don't think that that's busted on a 3-turn cooldown. I have Lightning Cage on her to try to protect it right now. Maybe the Hex can't be blocked. I mean, they make everything nowadays in this game ignore block debuffs. Maybe Hex ignores block debuffs. I don't know, right? That way it will synergize more with the counterattack on her A1. She can actually land it in this meta. You're already dealing with Total Guard and Stone Skin and all that stuff. So anyway, those are some ideas. TLDR, she's kind of cool, but she's not kind of good. I wish she was good, but she has a good foundation. How would you buff this champion? Let me know about it in the comments below. I enjoyed this guide. I hope you guys did too. Either way, I want to thank you for watching until the end of the video. Much love, and as always, take care, guys.